Hey everyone, welcome into the show presented by TwinSpires. The last leg of the Triple Crown is tonight, the 154th running of the Belmont Stakes. 6:44 Eastern Standard Time. That is the start. So that's when you got to be in front of your screen, wherever it may be, the couch, smartphone, whatever it may be. Belmont Park, the site in Elmont, New York. Brendan Glasheen joined by two of our very best that cover horse racing at the Action Network. Sean Zerillo, Jeremy Pond. We have you covered with winners, best bets, exotics, and we'll have a market report from our own Darren Rovell. That is all coming up during the show. If you want to get down some action on the Belmont Stakes, check out this offer we have for new users at TwinSpires. Get a $400 deposit bonus. All you got to do is sign up with the promo code Action Racing. Whether you want to take the betting favorite in We the People or the Kentucky Derby winner, the long shot Rich Strike, get some free cash along the way. Head on over to TwinSpires now. And again, make sure you use the promo code Action Racing for that $400 bonus. Let's get right into it, gents. Zerillo, Jeremy, loaded up. We're getting ready here in the starting gates very soon. We'll start on the undercard. Sean Zerillo, your favorite bet.
Race 9, the Met Mile, my favorite race every year. I'm going to build all of my multi-race tickets around the number one flight line. He's basically going to be a single for me in the late pick 3, the pick 4, the pick 5, the pick 6. If flight line loses, I will lose a lot of money, but this horse is a superstar. Now, picking him goes against a lot of my handicapping principles. I don't like to bet on horses who are doing something for the first time, and he's doing a lot of things for the first time here, shipping out of California for the first time, running at Belmont Park for the first time, and running the mile distance for the first time as well. He's never been past 7 furlongs. But there's a reason why the race coverage is switching over to NBC for the Met Mile. There's a reason why Flightline is in this race. He's an absolute superstar, maybe the most marketed horse since Secretariat. I mean, the press around this horse is absolutely unbelievable. He's run good fields off of the screen. Good horses are a mile behind him at the finish line. I certainly respect the other horses in this field. You have the Breeders' Cup winner from last year in Aloha West. You have Speaker's Corner, who I think is a very viable challenger in any race, 2 for 2 at Belmont Park. But if Flightline runs his race, I don't think anybody's going to touch him, and he may run these horses off the screen too. Apparently training well coming into this race, probably eventually targeting the Breeders' Cup Classic later this year. I said he's never been past 7 furlongs, but this horse is bred to run 1.25 miles, finally stretching out to 1 mile here. And if he runs his race, nobody's going to catch him. So I'm singling all of my tickets around Flightline. If you're betting the late pick 3, I'm going to use Flightline as a single. I'm going to use We the People as a single in the Belmont. And then I'm going to use a bunch of horses spreading in the race in between those. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jeremy has a pretty similar list as I do in his late pick 3. But that is how I'm going to bet Belmont Stakes Day. I'm going to single pretty much all of my multi-race wagers around Flightline. And that's a good way, if you're going to bet a big favorite, to get better value on them, is to single them in multi-race wagering.
All right, Jeremy, your undercard bet. Give it to us.
Yeah, very similar to last time we got together for the Preakness, Sean and I, on a lot of the same things, and hope they turn out to be the right thing. So I'm also playing a pick 3 here. I'm going to start off in the Met Mile with Flightline. Obviously, 3 starts. He's won by a combined 37.5 lengths, which is ridiculous. It's his first start past 7 furlongs, as Sean alluded to. Also shipping in from the West Coast to the East Coast to a track at Belmont, which is known as the Big Sandy, which is completely different than every other track that they'll run on, during their careers. So I'm going to use him, but I'm also going to use Speaker's Corner. Home turf, New York horse. He's a 4-year-old son of Street Sense. When we go to the race 10, the Manhattan Stakes, I'm going to use 6 horses. I'm going to use the number 2, Gufo, number 4, Adamo, number 6, Rock Emperor, the 8, Highland Chief, the 9, Santine, and number 10, Channel Maker. I think if you like a horse at a price in that race, and I think that's where Sean and I are trying to do, you want to catch a price. If you're going to get a 2 to 5 favorite in the Met Mile, or Speaker's Corner, who probably go off even money, 8 to 5, maybe 7 to 5, you're going to try to catch a price in the second leg in the turf, and that's usually where you're going to get them. And I kind of like Channel Maker. I think he's 8 to 1 with Luis Saez. Bill Mott, breaking from the 10 post, clear sailing out there. He's always in the mix. But I think we've got good coverage, both Sean and I, in that second leg of the pick 3. And then with race 11, the Belmont Stakes, I'm having a hard time singling I think the fact that the weather is going to be better than what people expected is going to bring other horses into play and not just keep We the People as the sole favorite. I do believe he's the best option right now. But I'm going to use 5 horses. We're going to go with We the People, the number 1 horse. We're going to use the filly Nest. We'll break from the number 3 post position. Number 5, Creative Minister, has a nice price underneath. He's 6-1 morning line right now. I think he'll go up closer towards 8 or 9-1. And then we'll use Mo Donegal. Is the Wood Memorial winner coming out of the number 6 post. And then we're going to use number 8, Barber Road, the long shot, 10-1. Fan favorite of ours. I love the horse, but I'm not going to leave him off the ticket in case something falls apart up top with the favorites. So yeah, I mean, it's a creative wager. You're looking at, it's a $1 wager for $60. 50-cent wager is $30 if you want to go higher, different numbers. But I think it's worth playing. I think Sean and I have this covered pretty well.
Yeah, and I should mention I like Channel Maker quite a bit as well. So there's a good chance I'll end up playing a triple single ticket with the 2 horses I mentioned, and then also Channel Maker as a single in the middle.
So on to Belmont Stakes. We get the best bet now from each of you, and I get the sense here we might be talking about We the People again. A lot of buzz coming in here, Zerillo.
He's the lone speed in the race, and I don't see anybody else who wants to go with him early. There were some other probable entries that might have given him some pace pressure at the start of the race. This is a race loaded with closers, and I think he's going to be on the front end by himself. Jeremy and I talked about it off air. There's a potential he gets bumped in at the rail by Skippy Longstocking at the jump, and that changes the whole complexion of the race. But if he gets out of the gate clean, I don't think anybody's going to catch him till they get to the final turn, maybe into the stretch run. The big question mark for me is whether he wants to stay the 1.5 mile distance. And it's a question mark for all these horses. It's not a distance that is typically run in American horse racing. So can he carry that speed all the way around the track? I think he's the most likely winner given the pace scenario for him. He didn't run well against good horses in the Arkansas Derby, but if you draw a line through that race, which you can, given what the trainer has said, he didn't get the right trip and his day just fell apart completely. The bigger question mark for me is, was his effort over a wet track at Belmont Park in the Peter Pan legitimate? For me, I watch a lot of racing at Belmont. Winning over a wet track actually translates better to Belmont Park than it does at other tracks. It's called Big Sandy. It's a very deep surface. Horses like Vacoma, who won this 2 years back, he was coming in off of a dominant wet track effort, came back, ran a phenomenal race in the Met Mile. These horses who run well over a wet track tend to get doubted when it's going to be a dry track on the day of the race. I think it actually translates much better at Belmont Park than it does at other places. So as I said, if he can stay the distance, I think this is We the People's race to lose. I'm probably going to be singling him on a bunch of tickets, though I do like Mo Donegal, the 6, and then also the 5 Created Minister as my B options.
Okay, Jeremy, with the day finally here, I know we've been talking throughout the course of the week, and you've made mention that you're going to be teetering your thoughts here. But now you mentioned the weather when you went through your undercard. What's the best bet now coming in for Belmont Stakes?
Yeah, I've never tracked the weather app for Elmont, New York more than prior to this race. So it was nice to look this morning at the forecast for today, that it's supposed to be sunny and nice, and we're going to get a nice dry, fast track. So I agree with Sean. We the People is the lone front-running speed. I think that he is the most dangerous in that position. When you're lone speed, it doesn't matter what level race you're at, whether this is a grade 1, grade 3, allowance, claiming optional, allowance, any type of race like that, maiden. You do have an advantage if you're left alone, loping on the lead, and you're able to back down the fractions. But with the weather changing, and I mentioned this quite often in other interviews as such, I like Mo Donegal now. I'm going to go with Mo Donegal, the number 6 horse, current second choice. I think now with the weather being what it is, I think We the People and Mo Donegal will probably go off similar price, that 2-1, 5-2 range. I think you'll get more action on him now. He was good in the Derby, had a trouble trip off the rail, had to run a whole lot longer than a lot of the other horses, and still got up, I believe, for 5th place. Won the Wood Memorial, beat early voting from off the pace, and early voting came back and won the Preakness. So I feel like those 2 horses, they're the class of the field, but I just find more value with Mo Donegal. And I like the combination of Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz. You're getting one of the best trainers in the game. You're getting a 3-time Eclipse Award winning jockey. And Pletcher horses always seem to fire in the Belmont.
So we mentioned this. We mentioned this for the Derby. Mentioned it with Preakness as well. When folks get involved with these big races, so Belmont being today, people are interested in the long shot, right? I mean, Rich Strike was the long shot that took home the Derby, and that, whoever decided to take a nibble at that, they're feeling really good about themselves. So, who could be the Rich Strike of the Belmont, Zerillo? Who's a good long shot, a favorite long shot of yours?
Yeah, I mean, Skippy Longstocking in terms of odds could certainly be on tickets, maybe get third and fourth underneath. But of the horses that are priced in the win contender type range, I do like the number 3 Nest at 8-1. And she is the pedigree pick, the lone filly in the field. But of all of these horses, and it's very questionable if any of them want the distance, I'm most confident that she is a horse who is going to want the distance. She is bred for this. She's the daughter of Curlin, sired the 2013 Belmont Stakes winner Palace Malice. And her dam sire is AP Indy, who won the 1992 Belmont Stakes and also the Breeders' Cup Classic that year. Trained by Todd Pletcher, back at her home track, where she broke her maiden. I think this sets up very well for her. She should be taking a step forward here, very much like her underneath, second and third. Wouldn't be shocked if she ended up winning the race, though she definitely needs to improve her speed figures. But the number 3 Nest for me, hopefully we get better than 8-1 by post time, but definitely a horse I'm going to be including underneath in exotics.
Jeremy, I can probably guess who you might be on for a favorite long shot.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, going back and looking, I like Nest as well. Again, Fletcher, he has him ready to go. Jose Ortiz, who just won the Preakness with early voting. I like that combination. I think Sean's on point there. Nest is in all of my exotics without question. But I'm going to go with Barber Road. I can't leave this horse. I don't know if he wins. He loves to finish in the money. He's 7 of 9 in his career. Again, though, that's 9 races he's already run as a 3-year-old. That is a unprecedented number. I mean, you see it very rarely. So this will be his 10th race already in the 3-year-old campaign. He was second in the Arkansas Derby. He ran a good Kentucky Derby, finished 6th. He was right there with Mo Donegal. He was outside of Mo Donegal coming home, 8-10 paths down the stretch. So he had to run further, just like Mo Donegal did in that race to get where they needed to. I just like the horse. I think if the pace falls apart up top, if somebody goes out and presses We the People, and I don't know if it's Skippy Longstocking, and maybe it's Golden Glider. I don't know why he's in this race, to be honest. Somebody's going to go after. I don't think they're going to let We the People stay there. So if this thing just crumbles up top, I think We the People could be there in the end. I don't necessarily think he's going to win, but I love him at a value price. I mean, we all had him, in the props, top 5, top 10 for the Kentucky Derby. And he's got a jockey upgrade. I mean, we love Raylu Gutierrez, an Action Network fan and friend, but he's getting Joel Rosario now, who is the reigning Eclipse Award-winning jockey, who is one of the best, if not the best in the sport right now. And Joel is based at Naira Tracks. They know this track. They know the surfaces, the New York jockeys. And I think Sean was talking about that too. A lot of the guys who are in this race, they're New York jocks. Flavian Pratt just shipped in over there, moved his tack from California to New York. And God bless him, he did. I mean, he's fantastic. He's been great since he's arrived. But this is his Triple Crown race. This is kind of a different ball game per se. So I just think Barber Road, he'll be there. And if you're looking for a wild stat from the back end of it, at the Arkansas Derby, Barber Road was 2nd. We the People was 7th. Barber Road finished 13.5 lengths better than We the People that day. So that's how I'm trying to sell Barber Road to myself and everybody else.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right. Before we continue, let's check in with our own Darren Rovell with a market report.
Well, guys, it is not a Triple Crown bid, but I am heading to the Belmont. We'll be with my friend Mike Rapoli, who has both Nest and Mo Donegal. Going to be really interesting. Obviously, the crowds are not going to be what they are when there's a Triple Crown on the line. It will be even less because of different winners in both the Derby and the Preakness. But it is kind of intriguing from a betting standpoint. Obviously, and I'm sure you guys talk about this enough and think about this enough. Rich Strike, is Rich Strike real? Or was that just an amazing race on an amazing day? And the Derby obviously has the rest. The numbers suggest that was a real race. But of course, no Triple Crown bid. Mo Donegal, obviously, of the shorter odds, And then you have Creative Minister, We the People, of course. And although this is an 8-horse race, there's not really the long shots are not any long shots that you're going to make a ton of money on. So I think obviously people are not watching this as much in terms of the casual, but it is a kind of anyone can win. And the key questions are, and again, based on the odds, Rich Strike, was that real or not? And who else in here is going to make some moves? But it's a really, if you just look at this and look at his history, it's a really tight group here where there's not a ton of value anywhere. Now, if you want to get some action down on the Belmont Stakes, check out this offer we have from TwinSpires. Get a $400 deposit bonus by signing up with the promo code Action Racing. So if you're a new user to TwinSpires, whether you want to take We the People, Barber Road, Nest, Mo Donegal, wherever you want to go back to Rich Strike, you think that was not a fluke in the Kentucky Derby, get some free cash along the way. Head over to TwinSpires now. Make sure you use the code Action Racing and get that $400 deposit bonus. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Darren. One last set of bets before we say goodbye. Exotics. Zerillo, give it to us.
We the People is my lone A-horse. I'm going to use him on top of a trifecta. We're going to play a trifecta key. We talked about a bunch of the other horses I want to use underneath. The 3 Nest, the 6 Mo Donegal, the 5 Creative Minister is the one we haven't talked about, but I am going to use Barber Road, who Jeremy talked about, the 8. So essentially, I'm against Rich Strike here. I think he's too deep of a closer. These other closers are going to be a bit closer to the pace. Rich Strike's going to be coming from way back, and I don't see much of a pace for him to run into here, so he will be off of my exotics tickets. Creative Minister, I should mention the 5, because he should get first jump on We the People. I think he will have the tactical trip, the stalking trip, and be closest to the front runner as they round the far turn. This is a grueling race schedule for him. He's raced on all 3 Triple Crown days, even though he didn't race in the Derby itself. So maybe he doesn't have anything left in the tank down the stretch, but I think he'll be in the best position to overtake We the People when they get to the stretch run. So it's We the People, the 1 for me on top, the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 8 underneath in both second and third.
All right, Jeremy, take us home. What do you got?
Yeah, Sean and I are pretty much on the same trifecta for our wager. However, I'm just going to box them up. I'm going to use the 1 We the People with the filly Nest, and the number 3 post. Number 5, Creative Minister. He's lightly raced. As Sean said, though, he's run a lot in the last month and a half, 2 months. But I think Sean's right. He will probably get first jump on We the People if it plays out the way I think a lot of people think it plays out. And then obviously Mo Donegal in Barber Road. I'm going to fade Rich Strike. I know we're in the week. I had him amongst my ticket for the trifecta. I just think there's too much to ask from this horse. TVG analyst and Action Network handicapper Andy B. Cohn actually saw the horse when she was working one of her fillies during a training session, and she said he just didn't look like the same horse she saw on Derby Day. And I trust Andy's judgment in terms of, being a horsewoman and knowing what these horses look like, whether they're dappled out, whether they look fit, look a little heavy. I trust her that set me off of Rich Strike. I just think there's too much quality. Way too many things went right for that horse that day. And again, I think, Sean and I talked about this before. I don't think Sonny Leone has run on this track ever. And this is a big track. Belmont is a massive facility. This isn't a long stretch, but the turns are sweeping beyond the definition of the word sweeping. They are wide. So I think you really got to know what you're doing there. You got to have that experience. So I'm just going to fade Rich Strike. You know what? If he beat me at 81, if he beats me at 7-2, I'm not going to play him at 7-2. So let's just hope we can catch a price. And both Sean and I can nail this triple for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have his run time perfectly coming from the back of the pack, and he needs the right pace to run into. I don't think he's going to get the pace that he needs, and he's going to need a jockey who's never ridden around this track before to time a run perfectly at one of the toughest tracks to do it. So definitely up against the lot in here, and he's going to be a short price.
Looking forward to it.
And I agree. And then one other thing with Nest's dad is Curlin, who lost the 2007 Belmont Stakes to a filly named Rags to Riches. So maybe Nest can bring home the third leg of the Triple Crown for the family in this one.
Love it. Looking forward to it. And once again, you guys have been excellent covering these races here with the Action Network. So looking forward to seeing how we do. And should be a great evening of races. So that's going to do it for here. Thanks to Jeremy Pond again, Sean Zerillo. Thanks to Darren Rovell with the Market Report. If you want to check out, if you missed anything here, folks, of course you can scroll back, but also be sure to check out the Action Network app. Download it now, and you can see all the picks that are logged by both Sean and Jeremy. Thanks to our entire crew and our colleagues at the Action Network. Brendan Glasheen, again, download the Action Network app. Best of luck with your bets, everybody, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for tuning in.